Hello. For the last year I've been experimenting with the flipped classroom, putting it into practice, seeing what I think of it, what my students think of it. And recently I wrote this, the reflection of the good, the bad and the ugly, how I found it, how my students have found it. From posting this, a lot of people have been in touch asking on Twitter and email, how did I go about setting up my Jamie's Flipped website? And how could they maybe do something similar? So I've put this video together, so hopefully in the next 4 or 5 minutes I'll be able to go through how you can have something that maybe resembles this and try flipping your classroom. Flipping the classroom is a concept whereby we ask our students to do work outside of the classroom before they come to the class, rather than having to cover everything within the class. You try and get the students to learn this outside of the classroom, so when they do arrive they are at least semi-prepared for the lessons, and you can dive straight in with activities, assessment, group work, which can really help them get through a huge amount of content very, very quickly. So how did I do this? I did this with a blog. There's a huge range of blogging software out there. You could use WordPress.com, Blogger. There's even specialist websites like EduBlogs where you can go along and sign up for free blogs. But the site that I'm going to be showing you how to use is one called resourceblogs.com. This is a website from another website called resource.com, a teacher sharing resource website, which is another excellent website. Do go along and have a look. I do think it is excellent. It's one of my websites, and there's an amazing community of teachers there sharing resources, so do go along and have a look at that. Anyway, back to resourceblogs.com. Here you can set up your own blog. It's a WordPress kind of blog. The bonus of using resourceblogs.com is that we've installed quiz plugins that you can use that not all of the other ones do have, which allow you to test your students on what it is that they've actually been learning about on the flipped test that they've sent you. What I'm about to show you though could be done on many different platforms. I think go out, experiment, try and see what works for you. So go along to resourceblogs.com, and if you click on the top you can see a bar that pops down and you can sign up instantly. All you need to do when you come along to this page is usual things: username, email, password. Really important, click yes, I'd like to create a new site. Here you can choose what your blog is going to be called and where you will access it. So the blog URL, which is the link that you're going to give to your students, you can't change later on, but the site title you can, so don't worry too much about the site title. It's completely up to you whether you want to allow search engines to be able to find your site or not. Once you've completed the registration, the email will be sent to you, click on the link, you can log on to your site and you'll see something that resembles this, a dashboard. If you have used something like WordPress before, then a lot of the things here will seem really familiar to you. We'll quickly run through what we have down this left-hand column, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of creating a flipped task. The task that we're going to create is going to allow you to give your students something to read, upload a resource which they're able to have a look at, embed a YouTube video, as well as give them a quiz, and hopefully we're going to do that in the next 2 or 3 minutes. On a blog there are 2 types of things you can post. You have posts which are chronological and will appear on the front page. This is where we're going to put our flipped tasks, so that every time a student comes along to the website they see the most recent task and are able to work through that. A page is just something far more static, maybe a link to a scheme of work or a page full of resources, which will appear in the menu bar at the top of your website. So for example here it says sample page. We can click through and see a page that's been done already. So before we dive in, there's just a couple of things we're going to look at as far as settings go. Within the settings there are lots of different things. The general settings is where you can go in and change lots of different things to do with your site, the site name, email addresses. Do have a look through those and see how those impact on your site. We're going to add a quiz to our flip task, and we're using a plugin called Slick Quizzes. Before we start, we're just going to go into the options just to set a couple of things. From here you can see there are a huge range of things that you can change. You can leave most of them as the default, What I would suggest though is towards the bottom there is an area called score saving options. By default this says no. I think it's great to say yes, which means that you're going to be able to save the scores from the quizzes that your students have completed, so you can go back in, not only check that they have done the test, but actually see what the scores are and use it as a type of assessment. Sharing options, again, this is defaulted to no, but you can allow your students to actually share their scores after they've completed the quiz. Something a little bit fun, again, completely up to you whether you want to or not. If you do, you just need to put in some Twitter username. This could be your one or department one. So now all the settings are done, we're going to dive in and create our first quiz. So you can see add a quiz here. If we click on that, that brings up the create a quiz page. Here we can see somewhere where you can add the quiz title. Every quiz needs a title. This could be something as simple as, week 1 quiz. The main copy, which is the text that you'll see before the quiz, what you will see after the quiz, and then you can rank people. So anyone that gets 81 to 100% becomes the best, the star of the class, all the way down to those that maybe don't perform as well as you'd hope. And here we can see where we would add the questions. Rather than do one straight away now, we're going to go into one that I have started already. So here you can see my first quiz. I'm just going to go back into that to edit it. So here you can see the quiz that I've started already. I've got a quiz title, the main copy, which is what we'll see before the student completes the quiz, the results copy afterwards. I've got my rankings in place so that someone who gets 81% is going to get excellent all the way down to the lower levels. I've already put a couple of questions in here. You can state responses. So if a student gets it correct, what will they say, and if they get incorrect, what they will see, maybe putting the correct answer in there, possible answers. We'll just add a question here, so let me just show you the process of it. Question. So, what colour is the sky? The correct response method, well done. And then we'll give a couple of answers, so we'll go red, blue, green. Obviously blue is the correct answer. So now all we do, we're quite happy with our quiz. You can add as many questions as you want. We're going to say publish the quiz, and we get a message saying, are you sure? We just say yes. So our quiz is completed. What's really important is you see this part just up here where it says slick quiz. ID equals X. The ID of this quiz is number 1, and we're going to use this slick quiz ID equals X later on in our post. So we've created our quiz. Now let's get a blog post up there to have our flip tasks so students can access this. So we're going to go into posts, all posts. You can see I've got a couple already, but we're going to add a new post this time. Have a title. So we have a title, which is the title of the flip task this week, and then we have a main area here where we can type anything we want. We can embed images, have a play around and experiment with it, see what you can put in there. So here you could put some text that you might want the student to read, so we'll just paste some text in there. Quite easily format the text if we want to, so I might just have to put it in there, maybe make it italic. So we have some text for the student to read as part of their flip task that they're going to do at home that week. It doesn't have to be text. You could have something that the student reads that you upload, maybe a Word document, a PowerPoint or something like that. It's really simple to add any kind of files you want. If there's a button up here that says add media, if you click that, you can upload something. So here we're just going to upload a really simple text document, but this could be a Word document, a PowerPoint, an MP3 file if it's a podcast you want them to listen to. And a few seconds it appears. We'll say please read this, and then we just leave everything else as default and click right at the bottom. It says insert into post. Here you'll see it puts it in to the document for you, and just add something to it as well as. So we've got some text in there for our students to read. We also have our link to a document that the students might have to read for their flip task as well. But maybe we want to add a YouTube video, something to enhance their learning a little bit more. So we're going to click on YouTube at the top. From here, if we click search for a video, really simply we can just search for any kind of video we want. So we'll search for one that I've put there before. If you click search, it will show you all of the different YouTube videos you can add, and really simply you just click insert and we'll have that on a new line, and that embeds the video for you straight away. The one last thing that we want to actually put up there is the slick quiz that we've done. So if we remember, we go slick quiz, ID equals, and it was number 1, and that's our flip task created really simply within maybe a minute or two. We've given the students some text to read, we've uploaded a document or a PowerPoint or some presentation for them to have a look at, we've embedded a video, and we've given them a quiz. It's really easy to categorise these. I might want to put it in AS flip tasks. I could also add a new category if I wanted to. Maybe it's a certain module, and we can add that into as another category. These can build up over time. Once we're really happy with it, as soon as we click publish, give it a second, and that will go straight onto your flipped blog. Simply just click view post, and you will see that will take you through to the site where everything is there: the text, the document that we've uploaded, which if we click on will come through, and then also we have the video which we can play if we want to. Skip through. And the slick quiz that we've done. So at the bottom we can see here the first quiz. This week we'll be learning about something really interesting. If you remember, that was the text that we put in as the initial text. Let's get started. How many days are there in a week? So I'll get these right. We'll go through, we'll go with December. As you can see, the messages that I put in are coming up. Colour is the sky, we'll go blue, check my answers. And then I get my score at the end, which is great. If I want to, I can tweet about it to all my student friends, tell them how well I've done, hopefully remind them that they've got a flip task to do. I could come along and comment on it. And then that's a comment that can, have threaded discussions with students. You could put a video on there and ask students to actually comment upon the video. Finally, really, we can go back into our dashboard just by going up to the top. And if you remember right at the beginning, we chose that we wanted to save our scores. So if we go back into Slick Quizzes, we can choose here the scores and actually monitor how well the students are doing. So you can see here I've done really quite well this time, 3 out of 3, which was far better than last time when I did got 1 out of 2. There's a huge amount you can do with WordPress blogging, and this is just scratching the surface as to what is possible. The best thing I can suggest for you is to go along to any of the sites, resourceblogs.com, wordpress.com, Blogger, EduBlogs, set up a blog and start experimenting with it. Ask the students, they'll tell you what they really do think, and hopefully you'll get something out of flipping your classroom and maybe trying to get the students to do a bit of independent learning and a bit of preparation before they do come into class. Feel free to pop by my blog at any point. I will keep writing about flip learning and how it works, but if you've got any questions, do feel free to contact me. You can find me on Twitter, or there's lots of other contact details on my blog. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.